Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 24th of December 2018. So, yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Christmas Eve Traders Tea Time, where we're going to have a look at the markets, the quiet markets, and a few charts, of course, as usual. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then guys, let's have a look at the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the S&P 500. Now, of course, looking at this daily chart, you can see how severe the sell-off has been last week. So every single day was marked by the, well, it was in the red, let's put it that way. And of course, this is where the index managed to find its support. It found a support near the 2417, maybe just slightly a few ticks below that. And just to kind of show you what that level was here, this was the low of 24th of August 2017. So interesting level. This is where it found its support. Certainly looking at this, I mean, taken from the top, from the peak of this year, the index already managed to lose about 18%. So it's on its way, of course, of losing more, probably, unless this kind of gets a retracement back up here of some sort. And what's more important is you can see that the this highlighted line here is the year's opening price, and you can see how far now we are from that line, from that opening price. And of course, I doubt that we might see maybe a reversal here, that strong of a reversal, which could kind of lead towards the opening price. But then again, miracles can happen, and could be maybe a Christmas miracle here. But to be honest, judging from this activity and judging from the whole sentiment, from the whole negative sentiment that's kind of circling around the indices, well, I mean, we could probably see some further declines, especially if this drops below the 2417, especially if we get a nice close on the daily candle, of a daily candle below the 2417 level. So this way we could then target the next potential area of support here, marked near the lows of the 18th of May of course 2017, which was not far from the 2352 level. So keep your eyes on that one. Certainly for now, the big question here is, are we gonna get a nice close here today below the 2417 level or not? Certainly don't forget that we do have a shorter day today, a shorter trading session, for obvious reasons, of course. So in a way, for now guys, be very careful. The volatility could not be here. I mean, that's in another form of putting that. So we won't see a lot of activity, but still, nevertheless, keep your eyes on it, and especially keep your eyes on the 2417 level. Let's see how that plays out. Like I said, if we do get another close here below this, because we do have a small close here below the 12417 zone, approximately there. Because the close that happened on Friday was around the 2416.62, something like that, approximately there. So in a way, just minor points here, but nevertheless, keep your eyes on it. Let's see if this level actually plays as a nice bouncing ground for the index, maybe to make a bit of correction here to the upside, going back towards the 2488 or even higher. Certainly these are the levels that we're keeping an eye on here. The 2488 was marked here by the lows of the 25th of September last year, and slightly higher levels. We do have the 25.33 zone, which was the, well, initially it was the lowest point of the year, of this year, but again we've managed to break that last week to the downside, and we created a new low for this year. So that's why, guys, for now, of course, if we do see a bit of correction here back to the upside, these are the two levels to watch out for, especially the 25.33. Jumping into DXY, now looking at the DXY here, looking at this daily chart here, you can see that it was climbing higher, but then last week sold off as well, but a bit of a choppy sessions, to be honest. And especially looking at these two, the Thursday and Friday trading sessions, I mean, talk about a choppiness here and undecisive trading. So basically we can remove this little short-term uptrend that we had previously, so now in a way it becomes irrelevant. So now we're just going to focus basically on the key support and resistance levels. So as you can see here, and actually let me just jump into the 4-hour in this one and it'll be much clearer. So looking at this, in terms of the downside, of course, we will keep a close eye on this 96.57 level, approximately there, 57, 55, something like that. A nice good drop, of course, below this could potentially send this a little bit lower, but in a way, we did have some previous good potential areas of support here. Now we need to slightly adjust our levels here. So in a way, we're going to target the lows that we saw here last week, and that was approximately around the 96.15 mark, something like that. So maybe just slightly above that, around the 17 zone, but nevertheless you could in a way round it up towards the 15 just in case, just to be on the safe side. So if this continues to travel further down here, and of course if it manages to break from below this little area of support, and also, well, now it's gonna act as support, but previously, as you can see, it was the inside intraday swing high here of the 21st of December. So keep your eyes on this one. So in a way, for those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way play the safe game here. If we do get a drop here below the 96.45 level, approximately there, which also actually coincides here with the S1 on the pivots, and this way we could then potentially target the 96.1715 area, approximately there. So for now, guys, be very careful. You can see it's currently pushing lower, but at the moment, judging from this picture we're seeing here right now, it doesn't look very promising for DXY, for the dollar index, unless this reverses back up here and starts pushing higher. In that case, for us to get more comfortable with higher levels, we need to get a nice good pop above the 97.10, approximately there, which was marked here by the highs of the 19th of December. And this way we could then target the 97.30, or even actually going all the way here back to the highs that we saw the week before that. So especially the 97.70 zone, which, as you can see, acted as a very strong area of resistance. But then again, for all these higher levels, we need to see a nice good pop above the 97.10 level. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. Jumping into Ripple, another crypto that I wanted to quickly talk about. Similar story as with Ethereum that I was talking about this morning. Certainly having a nice pop here to the upside this Christmas Eve, and continues to push higher. Managed to reach this perfectly, this nice level here at around 0.4665 area, approximately there. Managed to reach that area, from which it kind of quickly retraced back down, and judging from the picture that we're seeing here right now, I mean, there could be a chance for this one to maybe retrace a little bit back, a little bit lower here, maybe even to test the 0.4290. And just kind of remind you that this was the high of the 23rd of November. Sorry, the 24th of November, and we could see maybe a bit of a comeback here, and if this actually holds, and if this acts as a nice area of support, we could see maybe this one bouncing back up here and pushing towards the 0.46 0.65 or above, and the above, of course, we do have the psychological 0.50 level and slightly above the 0.51. So keep your eyes on that one, of course. For now, of course, this is looking more bullish than bearish, but then again, always have that element of the doubt just in case this reverses sharply, let's say back down below the 0.4290. Keep your eyes on these two, these good potential areas of support which previously acted as resistance, and the one that we're going to keep an eye on is of course the 0.40 level, and slightly below that the 0.3990. Now this one acted as a very good area of resistance here in the past, so keep your eyes on that one. If of course that doesn't hold, if this continues to break further down, then we probably could see something like this, where we do have this tentative upside support line, and eventually if this starts to break, if the 0.3990 level starts to break, we could then see a break of this short-term upside support line as well, which could then open the path towards much lower levels like the 0.3545 or even going all the way lower. But for now, of course, the downside is slightly off the table unless it's a small correction here in this crypto. Jumping into GBPJPY now, this one here, looking at this one, basically looking at this slightly bigger picture, we can see that it's still trading below this downside resistance line. Let me just slightly adjust it to be more, so that it would be a little bit more accurate. So we're trading below this downside resistance line, and that was taken from the peak of the 8th of November. Certainly you can see that it found its support near the 140 level, 140.20 level approximately there, so it failed to drop below it. And just to kind of show you what that level is and how that level played out in the past here, I'll just show you this this one right here, the daily chart. So you can see it also acted as a nice area of support here way back in August time, from which it kind of reversed and pushed back up here. So certainly this is where we're keeping an eye on this level. A nice good drop below this, of course, could open the path towards much lower levels, and this is where we will aim for the 139.35 area. But for now it seems that we could potentially maybe get a bit of correction here back towards this downside resistance line for a quick test. Certainly it's difficult to talk about the bullish scenario in the near term here. For us to kind of consider much higher levels, these areas, of course, you probably understood now, we need to see this nice good break below above this downside resistance line, and of course a nice good close of the daily candle above the 142.35 level approximately there, and of course then we can aim for much higher levels. So in a way, guys, in a way you probably could wait until, like I said, we get above this line here, above this downside resistance line, and then you could aim for much higher levels. But for now, as long as this line kind of remains intact, it probably could continue traveling lower here. It could potentially go up here, test the line, and maybe give us a few false breakouts. But if it fails to close the daily candle above it, then we could see further declines here, maybe even going back towards the 140.20 level and lower. But for now, be very careful. We could maybe see a bit of correction. If we do see something like that, then we're going to keep a close eye on the 141.15 level here, marked by the lows of the 10th of December. Slightly above that, we do have the 141.45, which is also seen as a nice area of support back on the 11th of December. So in a way, from the very short-term perspective, this is what you could target if, of course, we get above this pivot where it's currently finding its resistance. The pair is currently finding its resistance. So if we do get a nice push above this pivot, then yep, we could in a way aim for these higher levels that I was just talking about. And the last pair I want to quickly touch on, and that's NZDUSD. So looking at this one, and for this one, let me just jump back into a daily, and you can see that last week, of course, also had a nice sell-off here. So the bears were really enjoying this time last week, but this is where the pair found its good support. And let me just quickly put that on our chart, and this was this is where it found a support near the 0.6750 level, 0.6705 level, which was not far from these lows that we saw in the around the 12th and the 13th of November. So as you can see, now it's kind of bouncing back up here, trying to at least, but kind of currently today already got held by this 100 EMA shown as the green line, and of course this is where we're going to still monitor. We can see that it's still traveling below this little short-term downside resistance line taken from the peak of the 4th of December. Certainly we could see maybe a climb back up here, but if it fails to move above the 0.6775 zone, we could see maybe a curve here like that, and potentially maybe another drop here, another leg of selling. And if we do get a break below the 0.6705 level, now of course this is where we could then target the 0.66 zone, approximately there, which previously, as you can see, in around the mid of October acted as a very good area of resistance. So now this level could play out as a nice area of support, but again, for us, in order to kind of consider that lower level here, we need to see a nice good drop here below the 0.6705 level. On the upside, well, I mean, you probably understood that we do have this a downside resistance line, so we would need to see a nice good pop above this, and of course a nice good close of the daily candle above the 0.6818, and then of course we'll aim for much higher levels, towards the levels that we saw here in the beginning of December. But for now, as long as we remain below this little short-term downside resistance line, we're gonna aim for lower levels. Not far, of course, because just to kind of quickly show you something, it is a tentative one, but nevertheless something just to keep an eye on, keep on monitoring this upside short-term upside support line taken from the lows of the 8th of October, and you could in a way target that this potential area if we get a nice break below the 0.6705 zone. So okay guys, I'll have to wrap it up here, and I really appreciate you kind of watching this and listening this video. We're going to resume on the 27th, so I hope you have a fantastic holiday period, and hope you have a good rest during these 2 days, and happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, for our Catholic friends, Catholic traders. So for those who are celebrating Christmas, yep, happy Christmas, and I'll see you guys, and I'll see you on the 27th. So, and back in the morning with my Traders Espresso at 7 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a fantastic evening and a great Christmas. Bye bye now.